question isn't whether to adapt, it's how. Welcome to AI Builds America, where we sit down with the leaders, innovators, and everyday professionals reshaping recruiting, workforce development, and career growth for an AI-enabled future. I'm Candace Washburn, along with Melissa Salazar. Let's build. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Today, we are going to be focused on sourcing with AI, finding candidates in a competitive market. And I say that AI loosely because I know Dean loves it. But some of the things I would love to discuss are top of the funnel challenges, finding candidates in competitive market, including candidate discovery, how AI scrapes, to find passive candidates, maybe LinkedIn, maybe not, and then that criteria beyond the keywords. I'd also like to speak about predictive sourcing, how, we can identify which candidates are most likely to be open to new opportunities based on career trajectory, engagement signals, what those job switching patterns look like. And then also, I should mention that anything above how we're moving beyond traditional sourcing is going to be key today in our discussion. So understanding that context. And with that, I'm so excited to introduce Dean DaCosta, also known as the Search Authority. And he is an internationally recognized TA leader, OSINT practitioner, AI augmented recruiter, author, and sourcing strategist with more than 30 years of experience in recruiting, HR, talent intelligence, and workforce strategy. And he is also a senior staff TA professional at Lockheed Martin and a decorated U.S. Army Persian Gulf veteran. Dean is known for solving complex hiring challenges in highly specialized industries.
You could have gone with the short version. Hi, this is Dean. Have a nice day.
This is great. No,
it's not. I hate
need to
people
know.
talking about me.
Well, first, Dean, thank you for your service. So thank you for everything you've given our country so far. So,
I appreciate it.
Today, I would just love to kind of discuss, and sourcing, as I had mentioned before, is pretty much the bread and butter. I love sourcing, and I think it can be applicable to any industry, not necessarily just TA. You can use sourcing even for the industry that I'm in currently, which is wholesale distribution. So I think it's just one of those things that can be tied to various industries. And I think it's going to be interesting to kind of see what some of your tips and tricks are today, whether it's different platforms, different processes, what tools you're utilizing. I know that you have your own pages, so I'll just kind of let you go through what you think would be most helpful that maybe people are unaware of. And then, of course, I have some questions. I'm sure Melissa does as well. And we'll just go from there.
Dive on in.
Yeah, so obviously, the new big thing is LLMs, large language models. It goes by another name, but I hate using it because it's not really AI at all. Unless C3PO's behind me somewhere, we don't really have AI. It's somewhere between, it's not quite AI yet. It's closer, but not there yet. But that aside, it can help you. And I'm actually going to show you guys some things that can help you when it comes to that for your sourcing and everything.
Yeah.
So first of all,
can I ask you a question? I don't mean to interrupt. When you say it's not AI, it's LLM, does that mean it's foundational and it can transition?
It's better than machine learning, but not quite really AI.
Okay.
There is a significant difference. And for anybody who's a Star Trek fan, the original series, which I am, you guys know what AI really is. I mean, this is not AI. An example, and it's not hard to figure out it's not AI because, for one, if it was AI, it would be able to give much better answers, and the hallucination/error rate wouldn't be 40%.
Yeah.
So AI, so it's not really AI. It's closer than machine learning, but it's not there yet. We have always been scientists are always an incremental thing. You had machine learning. The next step up is what we have now, large language models. Next after that will be something closer to AI, but still just a little off. AI is going to take time because what you're basically asking for is what's the word I want to use here? Something that is capable of giving us precise answers that are 100% correct, regardless what the question is. So, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute, and who's even able to anticipate things.
Yes. Yeah.
Large language models can't anticipate anything.
Nope.
Right.
And if you don't write your prompts correctly, you're going to get a lot of errors and hallucinations because what we call AI, LLMs, is like a child. You give a child, say, go do this, but you don't tell them the exact steps to do it.
Right.
Oh, holy heck, breaks loose, and they do all sorts of stuff that has nothing to do with it. But so with an LLM, you have to give it precise steps. You can't give it any room for error. The average hallucination, which is basically a mistake, error rate for most of the LLMs is 40%. Now, some are better, some are worse. If you write a good prompt, you can reduce that. Mine are at 8%. But that's just because I don't give it much room to think. I give it narrow directions. I specify don't hallucinate, no errors. If you can't verify it, don't give it to me. And boom, 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 and I get what I get. So with that said, I'll give you an example. Matter of fact, I'll give you a great example of one, and I'll even show you how I did it. I'm shrinking one part of my thing.
Love it.
All right. This is an org chart for a company, in this case, AMD. How did I create that? Because you aren't going to find that exact org chart anywhere. How did I create it? I used a combination of sourcing links, which is a tool I created, a prompt I created to get this. That's how.
Okay, I'm like, show us. I need to know what.
And
you got this.
that's my next plan of attack. I do have a bunch of them. We're going to shrink this too because we don't need that. So I started in Sourcing Links, which is a tool I created. I put in a company. In this case, we'll use Boeing just because I love picking on Boeing, mainly because my son works there.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it is. So I'm going to use the org chart, and what it's doing, it's popping open a Google already pre-constructed string with all the different places you can find an org chart at. We're going to go down to BizConnect. Of all the org chart tools out there that have org charts, it is considered the highest rate of accuracy at roughly 80%, which is pretty darn good.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So we're going to open it and wait. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is BizConnect and its infinite wisdom. This is how they try to hook you. Well, you can't see it, so you have to pay for it. For those of you that don't know me, I don't like to pay for things. So I'm going to hit this little thing right here, and guess what? Now I can see it. That's a Chrome extension called Visualize, which actually just makes things that are blurry unblurry. Now, if that, for some odd reason, wouldn't have worked, it still wouldn't have mattered to me because I'd just go to View Page Source, and let's pick somebody. We'll pick David. I'm going to Control F and just put in David's name, and guess what? Right there. All the information's there.
Okay.
And I created a prompt to get it out. So whether I do it one way or the other, I'm going to get the information. But
yeah, does it work for like paywalls?
There's a Chrome extension that gets by paywalls.
Okay, interesting.
So that said, the problem with that method is it comes out as a CSV. So you get an you get an org list, but not a chart. We want something pretty.
Right.
So how do we get something pretty? We use this. This tool is called Take Web Page Screenshots Entirely, Fireshot. I don't know why I had to come with all that, but whatever. And we're going to do the entire page. And it is actually scraping the entire, as you can see, very large page. I've already done this. And there it is.
Wow.
And I can now download it as an image or a PDF. Once I do that, and I'm not going to run this prompt because it does take a while, I go ahead and use this prompt that I created. I name the company. I upload all the org charts I got, because I'll usually will grab some others from other sites, and I'll show you what those are. And it goes in, takes all the people, validates who they are, replaces people, replaces titles, whatever it's got to do, and then brings back that org chart that you saw earlier.
Right.
Now, this prompt will only bring back director and above, because that's mainly the spaces I work in, but it's an easy modification to bring back lower. All I have to do is remove that one piece. For those of you wondering, this is called the Enhanced AI Prompt Magic Pro. Do not look for it in the Chrome store because I created it myself because I really got tired of Chrome taking away Chrome extensions that could house my prompts. So I decided to create my own. And this allows me to do things. Most prompts you have to add some type of information in. So in this case, I can just add Boeing right there. I'm not going to run it, by the way, except I'll spell it right. I'm not going to run it right away for anybody, but I am going to push the button.
Not to jump in either, but so you're building out org charts. Is that helping you with like sourcing, or is this like for biz dev? I mean,
org charts provide multiple things. One, sourcing.
Yeah.
You're looking for a VP of whatever. And with me being Lockheed Martin, Boeing is a competitor, and I want to target a competitor, boom, I have the whole org chart. Now, if I need a VP and they want someone from Boeing, no problem. Here's all the VPs. And they go, VP of what? Of what commercial? There it is, right there in the org chart. Boom, boom, done. I already have it. I update these annually. And in between, I run a prompt that gets me all the people movement. So I know all the people movement from month to month to month. So I have all that easy peasy and no problems at all. So that's part of what I use it for.
I feel like this is blowing my mind because like being internal at a company, I can't even keep track of movements at a time. And I'm like,
this is
awesome. Yeah.
It's really easy as long as you write the prompt correctly. If you don't write the prompt correctly, then you have a problem. So I'm sharing. That's why I can't run the prompt because it's sharing and won't let me share. But normally what happens when I push the button, it'll open ChatGPT with the prompt there. All I have to do is push run and that's it. It's done. But with us sharing, it won't do that. I had that built in because sometimes it screwed up the prompts.
And you use Chatty over Claude?
The main ones I use are anything that says run in it are the main ones I use. I use ChatGPT, Perplexity, DeepSeek, Galaxy AI / Magica. They renamed it. Don't ask me. And then Run in Arena. I use Run in Arena mainly because one, it's free, and two, it allows me to run one prompt but see the results of two different LLMs. Every LLM is designed differently, and so you can get slightly different results.
Yep.
And if you write a prompt that works with ChatGPT, it doesn't mean it's going to work the right way in Perplexity and so on, unless you know how to write a prompt that will run in all of them, which is basically what I do with my last book explained how I did that. So I have Claude, never used it. I have Gemini, never used it. I have Copilot and never used it. So all the LLMs have a level of tolerance for doing things that might be questionable. So Perplexity, ChatGPT, DeepSeek have a level that's by the law. Gemini, Copilot, and Claude said, well, this is the law, but so we're going to make it appear, which means you lose a lot of stuff. And that's the difference between them. So I don't tend to use, like if I'm going to do an investigation on somebody, to get their entire background history, to find out what the likelihood they'd be willing to move a job. And I have a prompt that does so that they would be willing to move on a scale of 1 to 10, how close are they to the job description? I mean, it gives me their flight patterns or where they go on vacation, if they've ever had. I mean, it's a very intensive prompt and gives everything you want to know about someone and afraid to ask. I can't run it in Gemini, Copilot, and Claude because they've established their baseline for what they will allow so high that you can't get a simple thing that I can get. I mean, literally, my education as an example, they won't give you. Because they've set the criteria so high, but it's right on my LinkedIn profile. So it's kind of stupid. Claude.
I was like, we probably don't need people's flight patterns.
Well, I was just giving you examples, but I'm just saying, so ChatGPT, Perplexity, and DeepSeek, they're at the law. And you know how companies are. If the law is this, they want to be a little higher because they don't even want to have any people thinking that they're doing something wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Me personally, I'm always of the mind that if you feel you have to do that, then in the past you've done something wrong or you are doing something wrong and you're trying to cover up. But that's me. So I run those three. And there's also another old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If these things can do me the job, why would I use the others?
Yeah. Right. I agree with
and
that.
These do the job. I very rarely get involved in, I don't think I've ever run anything in Gemini, Copilot, or Claude. Now, when I go and use Arena, which like I said gets to match them up, sometimes I'll see what Claude would come up with, and usually I'm disappointed, or Gemini, and again disappointed, or Copilot, and then I'm really disappointed. But I still want to see every once in a while, see what they come up with. But that's so this is the way I keep my prompts because for me, I can do by category. I can sort by last used. I can name my favorites. I can just do a search for the different prompts. And then I
Mm-hmm.
can do the user inputs, and everybody needs user inputs. When you write a prompt, there's always information you need to gain. If you want to find out who won the baseball game last night, you can write a prompt, but then you still have to tell it what team. So
Yep.
that's a user input. This allows me to make my user inputs easy, simple. They automatically populate, and then I push a button and I run them. It's just that
So
simple.
I have a question. If somebody is not as savvy as you are and doesn't know how to build all these things, is there a tool out there that you're like, well, if you can't do this, this is something similar, or truly nothing touches what you've built?
Wow, that's a question I don't know how to answer without coming across the wrong way. I have looked at almost every prompt manager type tool out there, and none of them do everything mine can do. That doesn't mean you need what mine does, though. I tended to make it an overkill thing. I wanted to have as much as I could imagine that I could ever think about using, like deduping capability. These are all the prompts I have that are similar to each other, but I know why they're similar and I want them to be that way. They're not 100%, as you can see, 100% 79, 100%. They're not exactly the same. And there's a reason for it. I want them to be the way they are. But if I had any that were 100% and 100%, I would know. And I'm like, okay, I don't need two. Let's get rid of them. But most people probably could care less because they're like, I'm just never going to duplicate a prompt. Yeah, you will. Whether you know it or not, you will.
Mm.
I have export to JSON. Most people don't really need that. CSV is just fine, but there is a difference in your imports and exporting through JSON and CSV. CSVs will not allow certain characters, whereas JSON allows anything. So
Yep.
there's reason. And some people may not care about categories. All they care about is the searching by the prompt. Some may not care about favorites. I have 332 prompts. I want to know which ones are the ones that are my favorites. And
Hmm.
some people don't care about which one did they use last. I do because it
Right.
makes it simpler for me to find sometimes. But that's me. Some people might like nothing more than just house the prompt and run it. And I have a version. The original version of this Chrome extension was much simpler. It didn't have the favorites, didn't have the sorting. It had import export, but only CSV, and it didn't have the input fields. It was more like what you find most Chrome extensions for prompts to house prompts are. Very simple. It's not. It was slightly better than keeping your prompts in an Excel spreadsheet. But I started there and started playing, and then I started realizing I want this, I want this, I want this. So I started adding and adding and adding and adding. And since I program myself and I work from home, so it's not like I have a QA team. I usually use the LLMs to do the QAing for me in case I make a mistake.
Hmm.
I'll
I
run
have a
it through.
question.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're there and they can do some of that. And there's a version of I think it's Copilot that works with GitHub, so I know the coding is pretty up to speed. But it's not that it's a Copilot that works with it. It's more like it's a Copilot that GitHub modified to work with GitHub. What happened to me, really, truthfully, is I went to go use the Chrome Store Chrome extension, and it didn't work. Come to find out, they pulled it because it violated their security. Think about that. Google wrote a Chrome extension for its Chrome Store that violated its security.
Hmm.
It really? So I just wrote my own. And that got me thinking, you know what? Chrome takes away a lot of Chrome extensions. Companies can pay to have Chrome extensions removed because they're worried it'll make what they do it not worth it. So I just started
Yep.
creating my own. Probably 80% of the extensions you see up here are mine that I've created. I've even got one to manage my Chrome extensions. It allows me to open this page. It lets me reload them. It actually automatically reloads all my extensions every 5 seconds. So if I make a change, it updates within 5 seconds and I don't have to deal with it.
Okay, so what
Love it.
would you? I think Candace, you had a question. Jump in.
I do. So I utilize use.ai, right, which just kind of houses all these different types of LLMs. Do you have a recommendation, or like I'll use chat, for example, for summaries, professional emails, so on and so forth. Claude, I'll use more for like reasoning, if I need deeper insights, so on. You get the picture. But I guess my question to you is, do you think something like that is useful for the average AI user that is not building their own extensions. And do you think that that's
This
the right
is
categorization?
this is Magica. Used to be called Galaxy AI. You can
Okay.
actually, and I could switch to the old UI evidently, which is actually kind of cool. Oh, there it goes. I like the old UI better. But the key is when you try to do anything here, you could pick ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, VO. You can
Mm-hmm.
pick and run in any one of about 30 different LLMs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I have it. And I have it mainly because when I want to run things in like Sora or Grok, which I hate running in anything in Grok, VO or
I did
Flux,
too.
I don't want to have to pay for it. So I'd rather pay them. Well, I'm not paying for it either, but if I was going to pay, I'd rather pay them the $20 a month to have access to all of these
I
than have to
agree.
buy each one separately. I don't
Yeah.
pay for any of the LLMs because for some odd
Uh-huh.
reason that I still haven't figured out, they feel the need to be able to say I'm using them. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Trendy.
eh, I
I know.
did.
I feel like you have to bounce around in LLMs because it's like you were saying, Candace, like
Yeah.
chat is good for if you need it to like condense. Well, sometimes chat could be really long, but if you give it enough prompts, and
Yeah.
I've built enough like parameters in there for it to give me what I need. But
Hmm.
then Claude is like, I like Claude to build things. I'm like, I want to
Yeah.
build this. Like you write the code for me, and usually it's
Right.
pretty efficient. So
Claude's
Uh-huh.
not bad, but I find that I'm using ChatGPT for that when I want. They're the ones because they have this codex, which is all it's for is
yeah.
coding.
Okay.
So why wouldn't I use it? I don't have to do that. I've already. But I'm just saying. So why worry? Why not use it? And I find it's been working really well for me. I tend to
So I
use.
haven't used Codex.
Pardon
Is
me.
it something you just, I have not used Codex. Is it just something you enter your prompts into and then it kind of, the
It
output
it
is the
it
actual
depends
product?
on what you're trying to accomplish. Because truth be
Uh-huh.
told, and I'm going to open this for y'all, there's a tool called VS Source. It's a coding
Mm,
programming platform.
okay.
Um, right now, it's saying some of mine are disabled, and it's going through. It's going to list all the things that I have in there. They do have
Mm,
access to various LLMs. Like you can see, I have GitHub Copilot Chat set up. So if I'm going to do most programming, I do it in here, and then I
okay.
copy it and put it out there. But I have Copilot for GitHub. I have .NET tools, Azure tools, C Sharp because I program in C Sharp. I program in Java. I'll program. There's
Mm,
Gemini Code Assistant. There's Gradle for Java. It's an AI for Java. So I have all these different things in here. Python, which is my favorite language to code in. So I just do the coding in here. It's free.
And it's
Let me
like,
ask you both if
oh, go ahead.
this, because you both have built this before. If, as somebody who's never built an agent, is this a good place to start?
Yeah, there's actually if I remember correctly, there's actually an add-on which is free for building agents. But why would you build an agent?
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna get on my
Um,
soapbox again. You know what the difference? You know what the difference between an agent and a prompt is? The biggest difference? The biggest difference is an
what?
agent is very hard to keep up to date. Because here's the deal. An
Okay.
agent is designed to do a specific thing for a specific purpose, usually based on information you provided. Great.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to create an agent to write Boolean strings, and I'm going to give it everything I need to know about Boolean. Oh, wait, Google just changed things, so I need to update the agent. Well, guess what? That's not easy. It can
Mm-hmm.
take time. It's almost
Mm-hmm.
better to just delete everything in there and re-put it in there because what will happen is
Okay.
you'll take the new stuff, put it in there, and tell it to ignore the old stuff or remove the old stuff. But the problem is it's already used it once or twice. So now it gets confused.
Okay. So you're better off becoming better at prompt
Here's
engineering
what
versus
here's what
creating.
I
Okay.
will tell you. When I built
Mm,
this system here and everything and I used it and I loved it, I actually did analysis in 5 different LLMs and asked, based on what this system can do and the prompts I write and how I
mm-hmm.
write them, am I better off doing agents or am I better off doing what I do? And it's every one of them said what I do. The biggest difference is
Okay.
how hard it is to update an agent compared to what I do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Yeah,
biggest
makes
difference.
sense.
And at least that's what I found. And I ran, and that was one of the few times I actually used Claude, by the way, and Copilot. I ran it
I was going
through.
to say that's what I love asking Claude because I feel like it does give you a good, like, I feel like it's better than chat in that sense of like to tell you what's going to work, what's not. But
LLMs are garbage in, garbage out. It just really depends
yeah,
on how good you
it's
are at
true.
writing a prompt.
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, if you
It's so
wrote a
true.
prompt and said, "Give me the scores for the Mariner game last night," it'll give you the score for Mariner game. But the problem is, it may not be the right Mariners. There are 5 teams in the world named Mariner.
Yes. Yeah.
So which one?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it's not the
Right.
LLM's fault. It's because you didn't specify
Yeah.
Seattle Mariners. You said
Mm-hmm.
Mariners.
Mm-hmm.
So truth be told, LLMs are garbage in and garbage out. And even with the prompts I write, I still double check everything it gives me
Mm-hmm.
because that it's a smart thing to do. But keep in mind, my prompts are written to remove hallucinations, to remove errors, and only provide me facts. But I still know to review it, not because it's the LLM's fault, because it may have gotten facts or information from a particular place that might be wrong, and it's just giving it
Mm-hmm.
back. And just I guess just to give you guys a rough idea of what I mean by that. Let's see.
It's almost like you need a framework for the prompt and you need
I
to
have
save
one.
those.
I have
Yeah.
one. That's one of the.
Right. That's
I was
Um,
very
going to say that. Yes. That, so like when I tell people all the time, instead of going in and going, hey, what about this? Hey, what about, no, write something separate, put all the
right.
information in it, what you need, then drop that in. And then you're
Mm.
going to get a much better answer because it
Mm-hmm.
needs context. And then you're just, it's like rapid fire asking somebody questions without giving them any context. They're going to give you
Yeah.
their immediate perspective and it's going to
Right.
change every question you ask
Now
versus like giving them all the context.
I'm going to show you this. This is the prompt for, well, that's if it's going to let me. Yeah, this is the prompt that I have for doing an investigation on someone to find everything there is to know about them. So first thing, it starts there. You get how
Wow.
long
That
it.
is one prompt.
Now let's look at it for a minute. As an expert in recruiting, investigation, cyber, OSINT research, and professional report writing with experience at the FBI, CIA, NSA, compile a redundancy-free, actionable report on whatever anything in a square bracket is a user input in my tool. So that's how it identifies where I need to put information. So I put everything I have about them. The report must provide clear, accurate, professional profiles suitable for due diligence, intelligence, or investigative purposes. Ensure to run the complete report and put extra emphasis on finding emails, landlines, cell phone numbers using advanced validation methodologies. So I have already started reducing the hallucination rate just by making sure no, and I tell it where to look. As a minimum, you're going to search all these sites.
Yep.
So I don't give it the ability, I don't let it just think on its own totally. I make sure it's this,
Mm.
anything else but these minimum. Cross-validation, resolve discrepancies through triangulation, another way of reducing errors. And then it just goes into the report for everything I wanted to have.
Yeah, and then you could keep dropping this in chat or whatever and say like, what did I miss? What did I not think of? And then it'll give you some other ideas that you can add to these.
Well,
Yeah.
in this particular case, been there, done that, and there's nothing this thing misses. Because believe me, I've worked on,
Oh,
I
yeah.
refine my prompts literally every day. Matter of fact, I just got done refining that org prompt to make it a little bit better. And so I spend a couple hours every day looking through and reorganizing my prompts. But this is pretty much I mean, it's a long prompt, but it has to be. That's why the system that I go by for creating my prompts is called POS. It's a stacking system. It's a prompt
Yeah.
optimized stacking system. You could take one single prompt that says find me the name, then another that says find me the email. They're two separate prompts, or you can run them twice and have to put them in together, or just run them once. One prompt, two prompt, three prompt. That's why it's all based on an outline format. You can
Okay,
see
I
it
have
there.
a question for you too. So you talk a lot and write a lot about like enhancement versus replacement, and I think everyone right now is like so worried about AI or LLMs replacing people, which I think we know that it's not that they're replacing people, but companies are spending a ton on designing and building out AI or LLMs, right? And machine learning and figuring out how are they going to leverage that as a company. But what are like how is this impacting recruiters? How can recruiters, stay up to date on things and what could they be like? Obviously, you showed us all these prompts and things that they can build, but say they're like novice and they don't know where to start. What could they be doing? Like what tools should they be using and which ones are they
Well,
overusing?
the first thing they need to do is learn how to write a prompt. And I don't care what method you use. There's like 80 billion different ways to write a prompt out there. Um, some of them are in my book. Most of them aren't because there's just too many. They need to learn how to write a prompt correctly. And you don't need to spend a boatload of money to do it. Just go to Udemy and find a class, and they'll teach you how to write a prompt. They'll teach you a method to write a prompt.
Yep.
If you don't want to do that, then best way, I mean, I hate to say it this way, get on my calendar and I'll show you how. It's not hard to write a prompt, but it's hard to write a good prompt. I could probably teach you how to write a prompt in about 5 minutes, but teaching you how to write a good prompt for a little bit longer. I mean,
Maybe we'll do a part two.
I was
sure.
just gonna say, let's just keep going.
Can I
Now,
see the prompt?
yeah, of
Yeah.
course, now you can, of course, on the other hand, you can always be like me and be semi-smart in the equipment you work with. Let me find it and just create a prompt to create prompts.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I,
you could use that. Yep.
yeah. So
Hmm.
basically, this prompt will create the about 70% of a prompt that you want based on the information you give it. And then there'll be some little things you'll have to do to it because you're going to want to make it better as you see it. This will Um, this one here will do a QA and auto fix the prompt, and this will validate you're getting the right results. And then this is basically what I call mini prompt. It's, remember I said you got a prompt and then you add a prompt. This is for it's something simple like who won the Seattle Mariners game. That's what these are for. These are for simple prompts. This is what you need to do if you really want to write a prompt that's going to be low hallucination rate, high accuracy, and get you what you want. And then these are my QA. These are QA prompts to make sure I'm doing it right. Before I add a prompt to this, I usually spend several hours going through it, making it work right, telling it through these QA processes, saying it through Prompt Tester, which is also a QA for prompts, although not, it's decent. And then double checking the outcome, make sure it'll work on different LLMs. And then when I'm happy, then I add it. I still make updates to it along the way because I'll think of something else that, hey, maybe I should add this. Like that
Hmm.
people investigation one initially didn't have anything about what are the percentages they might be looking for a new job, what are percentages they'd be willing to relocate. I added that later. It also didn't have the psychographic information on the person. Now it does, meaning Myers-Briggs, what kind of personality are, what's the best way to communicate with them, boom, boom, all that stuff.
Hmm.
So, but and so I'm constantly updating and everything with all my prompts. Um, Let me get out of this. So
Yeah.
but
I
that's
think that
me.
definitely qualifies for a part two because I'd love to go through some prompts and
Sure.
see what I can be doing better. I truly think it's a gap for me. I'm just doing off the cuff at this point. There's nothing strategic about the prompts, and I know that it's important. So
Yeah, and
for better output.
you have to really like narrow down what you want and make sure that
Hmm.
you're yeah, make sure you're auditing. Like, and I think we talked about during this our one about governance, right? It's like you really
Hmm.
want to make sure you're removing the bias too in your prompts and you're not adding like accidentally adding bias. Like,
Hmm.
I don't want to talk to ENFJs or something like that, right? Like, so speaking of Myers,
Well,
Briggs
Yeah.
Myers.
to be honest with you, it kind of depends on what it is. I mean, if you're a company and you're looking for people, but you can't take people from a particular company, you would want to add that.
Yes, you
Technically,
would want
that
that.
is a
Yep.
bias, but
Hmm.
it's a designed bias. There is a difference. So bias in itself is
Yep.
not necessarily bad. It's why is there a bias? Is it intentional and is it legal? Yes. If you can't, that's a legal thing. You can't do it because it's illegal for you to poach. So that's okay. If
Yeah.
it's not legal or ethical, then yeah, there's a problem. That's the bias you don't want. You don't want the non-legal, non-ethical biases. But
Well, and I think
anything,
those are the accidental ones everyone acts, like you're putting that in there versus if you know that, hey, I'm contracted with ADP, I'm not going to poach from their workforce. Like, obviously, we'd exclude them. But it's good to know and like to make that people know they can intentionally do it and then accidentally do it. So just
right?
like you're really reviewing that.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I'm coming here for a reason. The sometime in the next couple of months, there's going to be a new version of this tool, and it's interesting because of the main difference is this. I've actually written what I call B prompts. There's about 10 of them in here. And this tool will allow you to put your user input and either copy and run in any LLM or copy and run in ChatGPT or Perplexity. That's what's coming
Mm-hmm.
into the tool. And I say these are B prompts, meaning comparatively to what I use. They will get the job done, but they are not going to get the job done, if you understand what I'm trying to say. They get the job done at a minimal level, whereas mine tend to go over, mine are more overkill. And mainly
Very
the main reason
detailed.
for that is because I spent a lot of time writing those prompts and I'm constantly updating them,
Mhm.
and I don't want to constantly update this. But that's coming sometime next month or two. My partner's actually taking care of it. So I'm trying to make it easier for people, but these prompts work well. I had a friend of mine, I gave him access to it, and he said it worked well. It'll do research for when you need information about a particular role or a company or whatever. It has the keywords and alternate titles, the talent pipeline strategy builder. It's basically how to find the people you're looking for. And I'll show you what
Yeah.
my version of it looks like. Candidate pipeline management checklist, data-driven recruitment, and so on and so forth. SWOT analysis, employer insights, relationship and nurturing emails, LinkedIn messaging, cold emails, everything.
I know this for recruiting, but like as a business development person, my whole life, I'm like, this is amazing. I feel like all the
See,
biz dev
that's what
people
I'm
want,
saying.
yeah, they would eat this up too.
It's
Like,
transferable.
well,
And
I think
it's
a lot of people say recruiting is so different than sales. I'm like, it's literally the same
No,
thing. You have to,
no, it's not.
it's a service.
I think it's the same thing. I think it's the
It's
same.
not different at all. I hate to bust.
Yes,
Well,
yeah.
A
Dean,
lot of
this is available, right, for public consumption.
what
This
is
is not
available for public consumption.
what we're covering with your prompts. It's is it on your OSINT page or
Okay, good news, bad news.
okay.
Can be found at thesourcinglinks.com. We are migrating
Okay,
to a new thing, so
great.
that yes. Um, my prompts that I use,
Yeah. No, they're not
no.
available. No, of course.
You have
But just
no
but
clue
for
how
people,
much I've been offered for my prompts and how much I've been offered for
no,
that prompt manager.
I definitely
And
didn't think that
when
they
I
were for sale.
retire, then it will be available.
You're like a cool, like, it's got to have enough zeros on the end of it to.
But I guess I
Yeah.
will say for sourcing links, we can include that, right? So that people
Yeah,
have
sourcing links is
access.
fine.
Yeah.
This is
Um,
awesome.
and then the SSAR pages, which I haven't even talked about, are fine too. And I haven't talked about them because
Yeah.
I'm probably a little behind with them. What was I going to? Oh, I know what I wanted to show you. I was going to show you something here. This is
And
just
this
a
has
bunch
been
of
so
photos.
helpful. Is there anything else, after we cover this that the audience should know for today? And I do think this warrants a part two. I'm sure Melissa's on board with me on that.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
Well, what I wanted to do is show you. Let me just see if I can find the right one here. What a prompt for sourcing strategy can do
Okay.
and how much it can do, because I think it's important. I mean, I do this all the time for people,
Hmm.
except I have to spell it right. I suck at spelling. Let's see if this will work. Yep, this will work. So this is for a controls engineer I was helping somebody out with. And this is the results
Okay.
of the prompt. As you can see, you get a quick job analysis. You get the ideal candidate profile, education, user experience. This is just based off a job description. That's all I got. The
Hmm.
timeline, the key milestones. You get the job boards and platforms you should target. You get the universities that you should target. You get the companies you should target. You get the professional organized certification bodies that you should target. You get direct matching alternate titles, related titles, and all that good stuff. You get email outreaches, meaning depending on how you found them, you get Boolean strings. You get employer branding information. You get current market challenges. You get mitigation strategies for problems, key performance indicators for the position, diversity inclusion tags, meaning what percentage are male, female, African American are out there. You get marketing specific information, professional development showcase, high potential risks, mitigating tactics. Where am I here? Moderate probability risks, mitigation implementation. And this was the first version of this prompt. In the new version, you also get a prompt to find candidates built,
Oh,
ready
that's
to go.
awesome.
So this was done before that, before I added to the prompt. So I actually run that for people if they're struggling, they need my help. I'll just run it and give it to them, but I won't give them the prompt, but I'll give them the results of the prompt.
All right, so
So
I'm gonna email you right now. I'm just kidding.
go for it. Now, the funny
Well,
part is I actually have a prompt to reverse engineer a prompt. So if someone was to give me the results of their prompt, but didn't want to give me the prompt, I could remake the
Reverse
prompt,
engineer. Yeah,
reverse
yeah, yeah.
engineer it. And that's just because I said, well, what do I find if somebody wants to give me a prompt and doesn't want me to have it, and I like the results? Reverse engineer it.
well,
Oh,
do you want to plug
Dean.
your books in, Dean? Because we didn't chat about those,
What
and I'm
those?
sure people would be interested. The books
Oh,
that,
And we can link them out too, because they're on
yeah.
Amazon,
yeah,
right?
yeah, they're all on Amazon. Just look under my name usually. I'll find out right now because I don't even know. I don't pay attention to them anymore. Dean
There's just
DaCosta. Yes, this one,
so much
this
achievement.
one, this one. Those are my three. You know what's funny? This book came out, and this 2 stars came out 10 minutes before the book actually was available. I found out it
Yeah.
was a bot that does it to any book relating to AI, and I told Amazon about it, and they're like, "We're aware." I go, "Well, maybe you should get rid of it."
That's terrible.
Well, no, we don't want to. I go, "Okay, fine, whatever."
Oh,
All I,
that's weird.
all I know is it's been out for what since January, and it's sold about 3,000 copies.
Oh, that's
I
amazing.
wanted to make it cheaper,
Congratulations.
but it's just too much information. And in there is my entire methodology for how I write prompts.
Can't wait.
So get the book
Yeah, and then
and tune in for part 2, people.
oh, I guess so. Sure.
Yes. On that note, Dean, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate. I'm not kidding when I say we should do a part 2, and I'm sure
Sure.
Melissa agrees. So,
Sure.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Just let
it's
me know
been
when,
super
and we'll get
valuable.
her done. Keep in mind, I am moving, so
Yeah.
gonna have a week where I'm probably gonna
Oh,
be down.
We'll have to
where
do
are you
it that
going?
week. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Well, we'll let you go. Thank
All
you
right.
so much again.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
That's a wrap on today's episode of AI Builds America. If this conversation sparked something in you, share it. Someone in your network needs to hear it. Subscribe, leave a review, and we'll see you next time. Keep building.